Good afternoon, everybody. I welcome you to the Pavakatakali performance from Kerala. We've never given them a Virudhu, but they've been long-time friends of us. In fact, Mr. Srinivasan, the leader of the troupe, reminded me that in 1986, when Madras Craft Foundation had its very first exhibition and performing arts from Kerala, we were trying to see could we really set up a museum, and Pavakatakali was one of the performers. We brought in an elephant to inaugurate. We had Kudiyatam, Kathakali, we had Akumati. Yeah, he's just telling me all the different performances that we had. And that was quite a show that we had. Mr. Ramakrishnan, one of the performers, was also there. And then in about 1998, we had an international puppet festival, and they came for that. And now this is the next time we're having them. I don't know how we lost you in the middle, but we're very pleased that they've come from Kerala. I think someone else will discuss what the history of Pavakatakali. It's a very old art form. But I just want to thank all of you who've come, and I'd like to thank the troupe for coming and for performing at DakshinaChitra. Thank you. I'm just reminded I should say about the Virudhu. Virudhu is an award given for lifetime achievement in the folk performing arts, and particularly for keeping the art form alive, which needs a very special effort and a special leader. And we've been very happy to be giving these awards every year for the last almost from 2004 onwards. So 22 years, every year we've been given an award to the main group. This is Geeta Vasudevan, one of our oldest volunteers. And
well, I think sometimes Debbie does forget a little bit, age is catching on. I must say that the Virudhu, when she suggested that we should honor folk performing groups, I was president of the Friends of DakshinaChitra. We are a support group for DakshinaChitra, and it's been growing. So I said, we will support the Virudhu. So this is an honor award given by the DakshinaChitra, but supported by the Friends of DakshinaChitra. So it's an FOD or Friends of DakshinaChitra award. I just want to remind you that.
Yes, okay. So we're very happy with the Friends of DakshinaChitra. We had an AGM yesterday, and 54 people came. Sri Lakshmi is our new president, and they'll do many activities in DakshinaChitra for the coming year.
Shri Srinivasan and Shri Ramakrishnan are awarded the DakshinaChitra Virudhu of 2026 in recognition of their lifelong dedication to preserving and performing this rare glove puppet theatre tradition of Kerala. Both artists have undergone traditional training at Nadana Kairali and have played a significant role in the revival and continuity of Pava Kathakali. This art form was once on the verge of extinction. With decades of experience, they have mastered the intricate techniques of puppetry while also contributing meaningfully to its sustaining performance traditions. Their work has received national and international recognition through performances at prestigious platforms. Shri Srinivasan has performed at major international platforms, including the Yulin International Puppet Festival in Taiwan, the World of Kathakali in Japan, the University International Theatre Seminar in Copenhagen, and the Pudal Yatra in Delhi. He trained in Pava Kathakali at Nadana Kairali from 1985 to 1995. Sri Ramakrishnan has performed at the Puppet Theatre Festival in Poland, Festival of India in Switzerland, the International Puppet Festival in Amsterdam, in addition to shared performances with Sri Srinivasan in Taiwan, Japan, and Copenhagen. He's a recipient of the Sangeet Natak Academy Award in 2011. Together, both of these artists have played a key role in sustaining and transmitting the Pava Kathakali tradition to future generations. Thank you so much for your contributions.
Lot of younger generation will be sitting here. We have started the performance with DakshinaChitra last 40 years. Then we get this award. Very thanks for DakshinaChitra and all of them, and Deborah's and all of them of the organization. Very thanks to.
Good evening to everyone. On behalf of DakshinaChitra and friends of DakshinaChitra, I extend my thanks for the awardees, Mr. Ramakrishnan and Ms. Srinivasan, for accepting these awards from us. Thank you very much, sir, for coming and performing your art for us today. Thank you very much. I thanks for all the members who have attended for this function to make this function a great success. Thank you. I extend my thanks to the students who are very much interested in all these arts, coming all over from that place to come here and see the performance. Thank you once again. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. We will start the formal performance in a short while, but before we get to that, we felt that it would be a good thing to give you a background of where this art form come from, where it originated and how it got here, that we can experience something like this today. So when you look at puppetry traditions of the world, you look at it, it's not just India, you have it in other places of the world. But fundamentally, there are only 4 forms of physical puppetry. First is the string puppets that you can see, that they hang from the top and they're manipulated on the basis of strings. Then you have the rod puppets. that are from the bottom. So you have sticks or pipes, and they manipulate the puppets. So that's the rod puppetry. Then you have the glove puppets, which you will see today. So it's operated through the hand and 3 fingers. So basically this finger is the main item of that puppet, main portion of the puppet. And then the arms are manipulated by these. And then the 4th version of puppetry that we have in 2 types is shadow puppets, where you have either large screens or small screens. Small screens, they can actually have shadow puppets with glove puppets behind the light, or from a very distance, if you have a large screen, rod puppets that operate either with paper or leather puppets through which light comes. So that's the 4 types of puppetry forms that we have. Now when you look at the history, each of the countries of the world, large nations of the world who have classical traditions, we find that wherever there's an established classical tradition, we have always seen, history has always seen a puppetry tradition develop under that classical tradition. It is influenced by them. For example, in Japan you have burnaku, which is what it's called, the puppetry system in tradition in Japan, but it takes after the kabuki dance and it works off that genre of artistic endeavor. In China you have Pingyi, that's the Chinese name for the Chinese puppets, who take after the Peking opera, and they tell the same stories. In France you have the Ginol, which is more Molière and comedies and sarcastic situations that they explain. That's in France. In opera, in Italy you have the Opera du Pupi, which is basically following the Italian opera, but again it's in a very different humorous kind of situation which appeals to the common folk. And so that's where the puppet tradition went on. Now if you come back to India, in our own country, let's go from the north. Rajasthan has a puppetry tradition which is called Katputli, which is the Hindi name for a puppet. Then you have, for instance, Andhra, Gombalata. Yeah? Then you have in Karnataka the Gombata, which is based on the Yakshagana, like the other ones I told you about. This is based on the Yakshagana tradition, where you have similar characters and stories that are there. And then now we come to this Pavakathakali. Before I get to that, I have to tell you about 2 incredible individuals. One of huge national importance, who was single-handedly instrumental in making the effort and illuminating another individual to make this art form come back to life. The one single individual I'm talking about is none other than Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay. So her contribution to Indian culture is unmatched. There's no doubt about that at all. And until India was free, fighting for freedom, 1947, she was fighting for freedom. Once it was independent, she was fighting for culture, till the day she died. So, and she was violently focused on what she wanted to achieve, and her dedication was absolutely supreme. She kept traveling the country as she established institutions, and one after the other. She kept traveling. When you read her life, she kept traveling and interacting with people, with bodies, with states, with common folk, and of course artists. And she happened to be in Trichur, Kerala, and she went to see the museum, visit the museum. In the museum, she found 2 puppets, 2 small hand puppets that they are going to work on today, 2 puppets. And she was very intrigued with them. They were in wood, they were carved, the color had gone off, and they did not have any dress attached to them. It was just these two put in a corner. Of course, the clairvoyant person that she was, something clicked. And she knew, this is where the second person comes into focus, that is Venuji of Nadana Kairali in Kerala, whom I'm also very close to, and so was my father. And I do a lot of work with them anyway. So he was in Delhi. He was working for the government, and he had come in contact with Kamala Devi ji. He was very young at that time. I'm talking about 1980s, late 70s, 80s. So she remembered that. Kamala Devi remembered that, and she called Venu and said, I've seen these two puppets, I want you to see them. She came to Iriyalakuda, make sure that she put him in the car and took him to Trichur and showed him the puppets. And she asked him to embark on a quest to find out how we can revive this art form, where it is. And she went away and let me know, and that's it. She expects you to let her know. Now it's up to you. So he went on a quest. It took about 6 months or so, where he located the family living in Palghat district, in a village called Paruthipilli, where many of them belong to. And there he got in touch with an old practicing puppeteer, Chamu Pandaram, whose son is here today. And that's the history that we have. Chamu Pandaram's family, these puppeteers were not from Kerala. They came from Andhra about 100 years ago. So we are talking about this puppetry tradition came to Kerala sometime in the 1750s or 80s, 1780, 1800, something like that. But that history is gone. We don't have documented history, so we cannot validate that except through stories of personal interest. So she came in, and he then started, Venuji started working with Chamu Pandaram to think about what stories could be done. First of all, they had to make the puppets. So what are the characters? Of course, you have the Kathakali tradition, who have the green, the very colorful, varied makeup of Rajasa, Tamasa, So all these kind of classifications are there, it became easier. But who's going to make the puppets? So they found two people who had that talent. And then what about the costumes? So that's when Venuji found a gentleman, an artist, performing artist, Kathakali artist called Tottasheri Narayanan Nambudiri. And he designed the costumes for what you see as the Pava Kathakali tradition here today. They worked on creating 12 different characters, and Venuji put together two productions. One was Kalyana Sagwandigam, which is where Bhima and Draupadi are there. And then the flower and the interaction with Hanuman. That is one story. And another story which is Duryodhana Vadam, the killing of Duryodhanan, which I won't talk to you about because we will see it later today. So, once this was ready, Venuji wrote to Kamala Devi ji, who was delighted, and upon getting that letter, she arranged for a program at the India International Center in Delhi. And she took the whole troupe there to Delhi, and on the day of the program, I understand that she was standing at the gate and distributing the flyers. She herself she was in her 80s then, distributing the flyers, and she made sure that anybody whom she knew of any repute or any capacity, she made sure that they came for the program. After that program, they had a lot of shows in India, and she facilitated international tours as well. So that is how this whole art form started to come to life, because of this lady who saw these two puppets in the museum, and Venuji's perseverance to actually put this together and make it come to life. Over its life of the 20-30 years now, there are other stories that they have. Srinivasan is running. He heads the troupe now, and they've, like you just heard, they've traveled all over the world. They're very articulate in terms of talking about their own craft. And today, they are presenting two stories, parts of two stories, not the whole story. The first one is from Dakshayagam. That's a it's a dramatic part of the story that they're presenting, where Shiva's consort Sati, they want to, she's, Sati is with Shiva, and her father Daksha does not approve of it. And she is called, he's doing a yagna, which is a sacrifice, I don't know how to explain a yagna, a sacred ritual, where she's insulted and she's not allowed to attend, so she comes back and tells Shiva, and then Shiva is enraged, and through his rage, two of the demon worshippers of his appear, which is the terrible Veerabhadra and Bhadrakali, and they come and ransack the yagna and kill Daksha and replace his head with a goat's head. So it's a rather dramatic story, the first one. The second one is a more familiar one, which is from the Mahabharata, where Duryodhana, of course, this story that they're going to enact starts with the game of dice. And, they lose the dice, and then they lose Draupadi, and so Dushwasana wants Draupadi, and then, he does his thing, and then it ends with Krishna negotiating with Duryodhana to say, they have nothing, they've lost, why don't you give them even five villages, not 5 kingdoms or something, and he says, no, get out, whatever. And in the end, the Dushwasana is killed by the character that becomes not just the normal Bhima, but the Raudra Bhima. When that character transforms on stage, you will see that the artists also transform. And the dramatic effect on the stage completely changes. You will see some fire, do not be alarmed, that's part of the act. But it is very, very interesting to watch all this unfolds. That's the background. I hope that's helped you. Yeah. Thank you.
Mare, Moha Sindava Mare, Brahmayadava Gure, Perdano, Devashure.
Last time he said that 4 kind of puppetries. One more there. Olden days, the water puppets in Assam. Now only in Amsterdam we can see the water puppets. In Assam, olden days there was a water puppet tradition. Now it's no more.
It's the first time I'm seeing
14 years before we started with the DakshinaChitra. 40 years. 40. 86. 1986 we started.
That's why the background was important to tell you in terms of Kamaladevi's vision.
Kabilaji's revived this in 1979.
And Venerji took it
Forward.
forward.
We travel several puppeteers all over the world in US and Amsterdam and Paris and then Spain and Denmark, lot of places. But in India, very rare performance. In our places also, not only in India, in Kerala also, very rare, yearly 1 or 2, no more.
Sad, but true. I'll be doing a full talk on the life of Kamaladevi. So you get to know his
Kabilaji is like that. He gave the brochure in the gate of Indian International Center after reviving years back. Then it will be going on. Thank you for.
After this most wonderful performance, I would like to invite members of Friends of DakshinaChitra to honor the artists with Angavastram.
Please.